Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Paul Cruz Show. I'm going to ask you a question. How are your thoughts? Do you control your thoughts? Do you take effort to control the way you think? Now, why am I asking these questions? Because today's topic, I think, is a very important topic that we all need to really understand. Now, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or PhD or any of that. I don't need to be one to understand my mind. So, before we dig into the topic, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscription button below, share the podcast with others, and also share your comments because they do help the algorithm. Now, conscious thought control. What do I mean by that? It's very simply this. As I mentioned to you before in my previous podcast, your actions are tied to your thoughts, right? And where do your thoughts come from? Your mind, right? So you have to make a conscious effort, or I know I do, to really control the thoughts that enter your mind. Why? Because if you don't, then what happens is the actions will come and follow, good, bad, or different. Have you ever been in a situation where you were in a confrontation and you got really angry, and then that anger overtook you where you did something wrong, and then after that you regret doing that? What's the first response? Oh, that's not like me. I don't know why I did that. Does that make sense? It's happened to me before. And it's a terrible feeling afterwards. So if a negative thought comes into your mind and you don't address it, and what I mean by addressing it, change it consciously, that negative thought will be fulfilled. In other words, the action will follow that. For example, no one ever grows up as a kid and say they want to be smoking or become a drug addict or a drug dealer or a prostitute. I know it may sound extreme, but why do these people become those things? Because negative thoughts entered their mind and they didn't change their thought consciously. They didn't control it. Here's another thing. People that are obese or that overeat, what happens is your taste buds control your appetite instead of you controlling your appetite and your taste buds. Everything has to be in balance, but we intend to over-embellish. Why? Because we don't control our thoughts consciously. We have the five senses that we react to, right? But all those actions take place from the thought. So whether you're in sales, you're a business owner, married, have relationships, friendship, your attitude or your thought towards the people you're involved with is going to determine your actions towards the relationship. Does that make sense? So just think about that. What happens is when your mind is set on making money, and money is the power that's behind it, you're going to make decisions consciously based on that money that you want to make. Which means you may wind up doing some wrong actions because the money is the most powerful thing and the thing that you're seeking and the thing that you're thinking about. But it's a conscious thing that you're thinking about. And what is controlling it is the emotions, the power behind it for you to accomplish and get that money. Does that make sense? So when you consciously control your thoughts, then you have a lot more power. You have a lot more strength. Why? Because your outcome could be a lot more successful, a lot more honest towards others and toward things than if you don't control your thoughts. So just think about that, guys. The hardest thing to do is think for most people, because most people react on emotions. Just think about it. How do people buy? I talk a lot about this. We buy one or two ways. We either need something or we want something. What is more powerful? The wanting. Why? Because it's emotional. It's not logic. And so we take actions on that emotion, and sometimes the consequences are very devastating. We get into debt. We go to financial bankruptcy. We buy more than what we need, right? All those things happen because you didn't control your thoughts consciously. But if you start to think about it consciously, well, I can't afford this or I can't do that because this is going to happen, you're going to be a lot more stable. You're going to be a lot more stronger. Why? Because you took a conscious thought control process. And again, I don't need to be a psychologist or psychiatrist or PhD to figure this out. It's very simple. Does that make sense? So whether you're in business and sales, I know a lot of salespeople that the reason why they're inconsistent is because they don't control their thoughts. They got bad habits and they can't be consistent. Does that make sense? I know business people that, they go through fluctuations because they don't control their thoughts or they don't control the right thoughts. So whenever you have a negative thought, it's important that immediately you change it to a positive thought. Immediately. Because either way, one of those two thoughts are going to take action. Wouldn't you rather take a positive action than a negative action? Wouldn't you want better compound results positively than negative results? Because either way, they're going to get results, right? Does that make sense? And then what happens is when the results are wrong or the effects are wrong, we intend to make excuses for it, right? That's another problem. Excuses. So just think about this, guys. Conscious thought control. If you control your thoughts, you control your actions. You control your actions, you control the results. It's just that simple. It's not rocket science, and it's not difficult to really understand. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I want to thank all of you for being part of the Paul Cruz Show. Till we speak again, I say goodbye for now. And remember this: conscious thought control. Have a great day. Bye for now.